we are going to go to a Bills game this year. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we have to make it happen because it's the last season in the Ralph, and it's 10 years of friendship, and we're celebrating our 30th birthdays. We have to do it. We have to go to a Bills game. It's what brought us together. I told them we're gonna go, and it's gonna be in just a weird way. I can feel it. Welcome back to Get Outside today. My name is Dominic. This is episode 25. Bills Mafia changed my life. And they did. It has been such an incredible year of experiencing Bills Mafia firsthand. I've been a Bills fan for 10 years, but I've never really been part of the community. They're my favorite team, of course, but I've never lived in New York or in Buffalo or really had friends that were Bills fans. So this is a story of my journey of how Bills Mafia has changed my life. I was born and raised in Iowa and didn't have a professional sports team. Only college sports in Iowa. So we were diehard University of Iowa Hawkeye fans. People, of course, pick and choose their teams when you live in Iowa. Bears, Packers, Vikings, Chiefs. But I never really connected with an NFL team until I got to college. My second year of college, I was in California of all places, and one of my first best friends that I met, his dad was originally from Buffalo. Diehard Buffalo Bills fans. I mean, watched every single game through the good and through the bad. And at the time, 10 years ago, their play was very similar to Iowa. Offense was not good. Defense was just tough and gritty. It felt like just the right fit for my favorite NFL team. Not super high scoring, not flashy, down to earth. And so I was like, sure, I'll take on the Bills. So that was one of the main connecting things for my friend, Johnny and I, was football. We had a flag football team for our floor, and I was the quarterback, he was the receiver. Every single first play of the game was a deep ball to Johnny. And we scored on probably, if there were 10 games, I think we probably scored on 8 of them. Our whole team was just undersized. We were very small, didn't look like we were super athletic, but Johnny was super quick, and I was able to throw a pretty decent deep ball. I would basically just throw him open, and teams were shocked by it. Teams would come up to us and be like, I didn't know you guys had that in you. I apologize to everybody else on that team for not getting a lot of receptions. Johnny was just my trusted receiver. And he has just become a trusted friend throughout these last 10 years of knowing him. We've never lived in the same place since then. I only went to that school for 1 year. And after just that 1 year, I was the best man at his wedding. And I've traveled out to see him almost every other year. He lives in Oregon. I now live in Colorado. And we've had some of the most incredible experiences together. He joined my family for my 21st birthday down in Mexico. We were swimming with whale sharks, sea lions. He visited me at University of Iowa, where I transferred to. We tailgated, went to a football game there. I've been to Oregon for University of Oregon games. And every single time I would go visit him in Oregon, we would plan it around a Bills game. We'd check the schedule and make sure that the Bills were playing that weekend that I went, and we'd make sure that my flights didn't interfere with the games, whether I flew out late Sunday night or Monday, but we couldn't miss watching a Bills game together. A couple times I even surprised him showing up wearing my Bills stuff at his doorstep. The Bills have really brought us together every year. Fast forward now to 2025. At the beginning of the year, I told him, we are going to go to a Bills game this year. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we have to make it happen because it's the last season in the Ralph, and it's 10 years of friendship, and we're celebrating our 30th birthdays at the end of last year, mine coming up here this year. We have to do it. We have to go to a Bills game. Like, it's what brought us together. We have to find a way. And I told him, before I even got on TikTok, I told him we're gonna go, and it's gonna be in just a weird way. I can feel it. And at the time, I was unemployed. I was broke as ever. There was no way I was gonna be able to pay for a game unless something very drastic changed in my life. March 5th, 2025. The day I decided to take TikTok seriously. The day I made my first post looking at the camera saying, we're getting after it, let's go. I had been posting on TikTok maybe once a month, every other month as an afterthought to my Instagram, but I finally decided to get after it. About a month in, I started going live. doing live streams, praying for people, just trying to build community. And there was one day where I wore a Bills shirt. And a lot of people came in and were saying, "Go Bills," asking for my story of how I'm a Bills fan, asking if I'm from Western New York. A lot of community came in from that one live. And I was like, maybe I should start wearing more of my Bills stuff. Mind you, all of the Bills gear that I had was basically gifts from Johnny. Every time I'd go visit him, he'd have like a Bills shirt laying down in my bed that he would be passing down to me, which I loved and cherished. And one of those shirts, that shirt that I was wearing that day, was a shirt that he passed on to me. So I had about 6 or 7 items of Bills things that I could wear. And so for the next, whatever it was, 6 or 7 days, I wore a Bills shirt on every single live, and every day, like more and more people came in and followed me, and I was just able to connect. And I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. But at the end of the week, I ran out of Bills gear, so I was like, oh no, do I recycle back to my first shirt? I had them in order in my closet, or do I just go back to like wearing other clothes? And I asked him on the live, it was like the second to last. I had one more jacket left for the next day, and I asked him, all right guys, after tomorrow, do I just start wearing other clothes, or do I cycle back to my Bills stuff? And they said, if you open up a P.O. box, we will send you Bills gear to wear. Mind you, I didn't really even know what a P.O. box was. I thought that was something for like big businesses or big celebrities, or no idea. I kind of pushed aside the idea, and I decided to cycle back for my Bills stuff, kept wearing Bills things, but they kept saying, open a P.O. box. Like, we want to bless you. We want to send you things. Not really good at receiving. So it was hard for me to think about opening up something where people could send me things. Finally, I had to call up my mom, and I told her about what was going on, and she said, people want to be part of the community. People want to be part of the mission. Like, you're blocking a blessing, someone else's blessing, someone else's part of something by not opening up the P.O. box. Like, it's so simple on your end. You're not forcing people to do it. People want to. Think about how you feel, of how you would want to give to somebody in their mission and their community. So the same day, I went and opened a P.O. box. It started off slow, and I was kind of regretting putting all that money into a P.O. box. I got like the biggest one. I didn't know. I was thinking packages. Little did I know I could just get a small one, and they'd put a key in it, and then you could go to a bigger locker. So it was a whole learning process for me. So it was moving kind of slow. Later on in the summer, I decided to make a post about how I became a Bills fan, because everybody would ask, and I would be repeating the same story over and over. I'm from Iowa, my friend in college. And I was like, let me just get this out of the way. I'll make a post, I'll pin it to my profile. It'll probably be a long post, so it's not gonna get that much engagement. And we'll just for a point of reference, because not that I was getting annoyed, but I felt bad for my listeners of like, oh, here it goes again. How is a Bills fan? So I make the post. Starts with a Bills fan from Iowa. So I talked about the story about meeting Johnny, our Bills journey, and then on how we wanted to go to a Bills game because of our 10 years of friendship and our 30th birthdays. So I shared all of that in the post. And little did I know that post would find its way to Buffalo, New York. It blew up. It currently has 19,000 views. And so many people were just so welcoming and left just the best comments with recommendations, so many incredible messages. Abigail Lee reached out to me wanting to send clothing. This was part of her first little care package, one of my favorite hoodies. And then I got a DM from just a random account. I don't think the account even had any posts on it. The only thing was a profile picture, and it said Dave Piggott. And the message read, "Hi, I'm one of the people that replied to your Bills fan video. This is super random, but I saw your video and I talked to my office manager. I own a very small law firm. I opened in Denver over 10 years ago. I recently opened a Buffalo office, mostly so I have an excuse to fly home for Bills games. We bought season tickets before we had an office. We're not big enough to have an ad budget or anything, but I thought we could sort of sponsor your Bills adventure, at least tickets, possibly airfare. If you make a video or two about the trip and mentioned us, it would help us out too. Obviously, a lot of details to work out, but I had the idea and thought I'd see if you were interested. let me know. At first I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to think. Because whenever you see a profile with not any posts or anything on there, you're kind of like, what is this? Who is this? But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I get excited and I assume the best in everybody. And so I was stoked. And so we messaged a couple times, got his email, and sure enough, he offered to sponsor my Bills trip. He offered to pay for my ticket and my friend's ticket. And I told Johnny at the beginning of the year, it's gonna happen some crazy way. And sure enough, the beginning stages of seeing it come to life. And then he had another surprise, but he wanted to do it in a fun way. He wanted to do it on one of my lives. He wanted to join my live. And so he came on my live and we were just going back and forth, talking about being a Bills fan, talking about his childhood and being a Bills fan. He remembers when the Bills lost the Super Bowls, and he just was talking about what it meant to be part of Bills Mafia. It was beautiful. Everyone on the live became a huge fan of Dave because of just his raw story. And so after some chatting, he said, all right, we have one more surprise for you. We want to bless you with $1,000 for the week to help with airfare and whatever else. Food, Bills gear. It was incredible. It was emotional. It was just so incredibly generous. Dave, thank you. Thank you so much again. Thank you to you and your team for that offer and for getting us to that Bills game. It was just beautiful. So the P.O. Box experiences kept going. Foco sent me a huge box with 4 or 5 shirts, 2 beanies, 2 cups, the overalls, shorts. I mean, just so many incredible things. I got sent jerseys. I mean, crew necks. It has been just so incredibly generous of you guys. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much for, whether big or small, everything in the P.O. Box has just been so exciting. The unboxing videos have been so fun. The blooper videos, I know, are a lot of your guys' favorites. So the community just keeps growing. The Bills community keeps growing. My top posts on TikTok are like all my Bills posts. The anticipation for, week 1 of the season is just so exciting. But the anticipation for going to Buffalo for my first time is so exciting. Turns out it's the whiteout game. Turns out it's against the Patriots. It's Sunday Night Football. So yeah, we are so hyped. People are recommending all their favorite restaurants, places to get Bills gear in the comments. So I made a shared list with my friend Johnny and his wife and his sister-in-law. They all came. So we had a big group going to Buffalo, and then we were gonna meet up with Johnny's dad and some of his extended family that still lives in Buffalo. So it became this experience beyond just me, beyond just the Bills, but experiencing my best friend's family for the first time. And it's funny because all the recommendations in the comments were about food. Little did I know Buffalo has their own niche of food. Little did I know. But boy, do I know now. Some of the best American food I've ever had. Ever. Pizza logs? Are you kidding me with that? The wings, the best. Beef on weck. Loganberry. Sponge candy. The list went on and on. We experienced some of the best food in Buffalo. I think about a lot of the food weekly still, and I miss it. Some of my top favorites from the first trip: Barbell, Wingnuts, Paula's Donuts. We went to Platters, Toasted, underrated little coffee shop. The food and coffee there was so good. We literally shopped at as many stores as we could. We spent a whole day just thrifting, shopping, going from place to place. We also went to Niagara Falls. We did the Maid of the Mist. We went down to Canal Side and walked along the water. And I was just able to meet Johnny's family, which was so special, to meet some of his extended family. And then it was game day. The game was 8 p.m. local time, which I think is crazy. Eastern time, the hardest time to watch sports. But we were so excited. So we got to the grounds, we got to the stadium at around noon, I think, probably just before. And we didn't really have a home base. So we're like walking around, carrying like this cooler with our Labatt Stadium shandy. Oh, and it was just an incredible experience to be there, to see the stadium, to see the new stadium, to go to Hammer's Lot, to go to the Bills Mafia house. And then right before the game, Dave flew in that day. I was able to meet Dave in person, meet his assistant that coordinated everything. Incredible to see him in person, to just thank him in person. to go back and forth about just more of his story, more Bill's experiences, and just the hype anticipation was so exciting. That was the last thing we did before walking into the game. So at the tailgate, as we're going back and forth, Dave said he has one more surprise. I was like, another surprise? And he said, we got you and Johnny on-field passes for after the game. On the field passes for after the game. This is the last year in the stadium, and we're going to be able to go in the field. So his assistant says, when you're on the field, ask for Jack. He's going to have goodie bags for you. Walking into the game, just a sea of people wearing white. So exciting. We go in, we find our seats. I go get a drink. I come back, and not 5 minutes later, you know how Ty Johnson throws passes during pregame? We're sitting in the end zone, that same end zone where he's doing it. We're row 18, so usually he just does little tosses in the front. Row 18, I turned to Johnny, I was like, hey, hold my beer. And so I stand up, and I'm waving at him, and I'm like, he throws it to me all the way up in row 18. I catch it, and was just kind of blacked out for a moment. I was just in shock. Threw it back to him. People were cheering. It was just little details just added up throughout the day of just, look at God. Look at the journey. All the hype and build-up, and things were just one after another. It was so fun. The atmosphere was incredible. The Bills, obviously, they lose. It was so fun, though. We had an electric time, and then we remembered we're going on the field after the game. So we quickly forget about the loss, and all of a sudden, Johnny and I are walking down the steps, and so we're on the field, and we remembered, oh my gosh, wait, we're supposed to ask for Jack. So we asked the security people, do you guys know Jack? They said no. We asked a few people that worked there, do you know Jack? They're like, oh yeah, he's over there. We got these little footballs from the stadium to go on the field and play catch. So Johnny and I were playing catch, and we're asking around for this guy named Jack. We can't find him. We, throw a couple touchdown passes to each other, taking it in, taking pictures. Security's now kind of herding us all back in, and we're like, shoot, we haven't found Jack yet. And Johnny didn't give up. I kind of had to let it go, it's okay, but he didn't give up. So as we're walking out, he's asking a group of people that work there, do you guys know Jack Johnson? Yeah, he's right here. And I was like, hey, it was so awkward. I'm asking you to give me a goodie bag. I kind of told him the whole story. He's like, oh, yeah. And so he gave us these goodie bags. I did a whole haul on TikTok with everything in that bag. That TikTok blew up. Just some incredible, just small knickknacks, but so special. Things that I'm going to take with me forever. As we're sitting there talking, one of the girls who worked there said, wait, are you on TikTok? And I was like, whoa, what? So yeah, I saw your story of coming to the Bills game, and I was worried that you weren't gonna wear white, but I've seen your videos. It was the first time that I had gotten recognized for being on TikTok. So we just started chatting with her and her other coworkers. And as we're chatting, I took a moment to look around, and all of a sudden, the stadium was empty. Security had cleared. It was just Johnny, 4 or 5 of these girls that worked for the Bills, and me. And I was like, oh my gosh, can you take a video of Johnny and I doing something on the field? There's nobody here. So we took a little chest bump video and just had the best laughs. On the field, nobody was there. It was the 6 of us, 6 or 7 of us in the end zone. We shut the place down. We're walking up the stairs. An incredible day. It was, we had forgotten about the loss. It was just to be together, to be with Bills Mafia, to be in that experience, in that environment was incredible. So a few days later, I go on TikTok Live to recap the weekend, every single detail, what we ate, all the experiences with Dave, going to the game, tailgating, the moments after the game. And after I finished recapping the whole weekend, I just broke down. I cried, just thanking everybody for being part of the journey. Just being in it together. It felt like we went to the game together. It felt like we had done every single thing with my TikTok community because they were so excited. The texts on game day, the amount of texts and people that reached out to me wishing just the best, it was emotional. Because it was always together. It wasn't just about me. It wasn't just, and it went even beyond just Johnny and I and his family. It was my whole TikTok community that was in that together. I thought that was gonna be it. I thought that was just the pinnacle, the peak. That was it. We finally got to the Bills game. It happened in a crazy way. We did it. The Ralph. Wegmans. I got my Ralph shirt. Wegmans, incredible. And then a few days later, I get invited to go to another game. Somebody wanted to sponsor my trip again, and I could bring a friend to the Bills-Chiefs game. This trip was really special because I was able to meet up with a lot of my friends and community that I had built on social media. The first trip, I was with Johnny. We were having our time with his family. That trip was special for that reason. This second trip was special because I was able to connect with so many people that I had missed the first time, so many people that I had met in between games. And so we had a whole itinerary of places to be on that day of tailgating. We parked in the grass lot. We had a home base, which was a key. And then we tailgate hopped, meeting people from social media. It was so fun to build community. I currently have more community, more friends in Buffalo than I do where I currently live. I'm working on it. We were able to go to the game day Buffalo tailgate, which was an amazing experience. I was able to thank Abigail for sending me her care package, able to encourage her in what she's doing. And then, as we're going into the game, I took a quick stop to the restroom, and as I'm waiting in line, someone comes up to me and says, "Are you on TikTok?" And I was like, "No way, this is happening again, no way." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, are you on TikTok? Like, what's your name? Like, what's your name? And she's like, "Yeah, I see your videos all the time." And so we just got to connect. It was a super sweet moment. Her boyfriend came up and she's like, "Oh, here, take this flag. I want to give you this flag." Are you sure? What? Like, no way. And she's like, yeah, take it. And it was just such a sweet moment of Bills Mafia, like family. The fact that she came up to say hi was so special as it was. And then to share something that she had purchased, a Believe flag. I was so honored. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. Just waiting in line before the game. Got my redemption. I was told I wasn't allowed back after the Bills lost the first time. Got the redemption. Bills beat the Chiefs, so it was even sweeter. And again, such an amazing experience to have one of my best friends with me, to have so many friends from TikTok, from social media, and to just be a part of something, to be a part of it, to feel like I have community there. That's why that trip was just so incredibly special. Shortly after that game, my buddy Johnny from the first game texted me and said, "Hey, I just bought tickets to the Josh Allen jersey retirement game in Wyoming." Basically saying, "I'm coming." And I was like, "What?" Because he has a whole family, he has things. So in the past, I had been going out to see him because he has a family, and I was like so shocked and so excited and surprised that he was coming to visit me in Colorado. And he bought the tickets before he even asked me. As soon as they announced it, bam, he bought tickets. He got 4 tickets. And so we found 2 other friends to come with. One of them was my friend Tim, who came to the Chiefs game. So Johnny flew out, got to see my life here in Colorado. We drove up to Wyoming for the game, knowing nobody. We booked an Airbnb. We tailgated in a park. We're throwing the football around in the park, running routes, trying to guard each other. It was just so fun. It was just a weekend for the boys. As we're walking into the game, I was passing by a lot of people wearing Bills stuff, obviously. A lot of people wearing Bills stuff in Wyoming. I'm wearing my whiteout jersey. As we're walking in, we say hi to these Bills fans, and a guy goes, "I see your videos on TikTok all the time." And I was like, no way. So far, 3 for 3. 3 Bills events, 3 people have recognized me at each one. Every time I'm like, oh my gosh, can we please take a picture? I want to know you. I want to take a picture to remember this moment. It's special. And I want them to be, I don't want to be known. I want them to be known. I want to hear them and their story. And so I've been able to take pictures with everyone that I've met. It's been so fun. And the Wyoming game was awesome. Such a cool stadium. It was so fun to be there. It was packed out. Seeing Josh on the field was awesome. And the weekend was it was amazing. It was a fun little getaway. It was fun to be there with Johnny and Tim, who I had brought to the Bills games. A shared experience, again, being in community. And so every single live, I have something Bills in it. Whether I'm wearing Bills stuff, whether I have stuff in the back. The cooler, oh my gosh, one of my favorite P.O. box unboxings was this. I had a little tree topper on a little tiny Christmas tree that was up there from middle of December till the end of the Bills season. It was up there. People loved it. And a P.O. box full of Watson's chocolate and candy. Like, I've been so spoiled, so privileged. It's never taken for granted. The amount of generosity that has come through the P.O. box, that has come through even just following. That's a big deal to me, that you even follow my account, that you engage with my posts. I see the small things. The P.O. box, yeah, it's incredible, but the community, like, I see you and I appreciate it. That has been so special to me, is just the small conversations. Maybe 1 or 2 DMs back and forth, like supporting each other, learning each other's names. That's a big deal for me. I try really hard on my TikTok lives to remember people's name. I have a whole Google Doc with people's usernames if their name's not in it with their actual name. So the season goes on, and it turns out the Bills have a chance to play in Denver. If certain things happen in the playoffs, the Bills will be in Denver for the second round. Certain things happen, the Bills are coming to Denver. And of course I wanted to go. Denver's like an hour away from me, but tickets were so expensive. And so I had, again, someone on social media said, I want to sponsor your ticket. They reached out to a few other people. I got sponsored again to go to the game in Denver. And so I reached out to Madeline Hall, one of my friends, dear sweet friends that I met through social media, through Bills Mafia TikTok. And I had seen her twice. I had seen her at both games in Buffalo. Ran into her on the field the first game by accident, and then saw her at Game Day Buffalo tailgate. And then so I reached out to her. I was like, hey, are you coming to Denver? I'd love to connect. Not expecting anything, just wanting to connect with a friend. And she messaged me and says, hey, if you make a video promoting the Game Day Buffalo party Friday night and tailgate on Saturday, I'll give you free tickets. And again, just blown away. I don't have a huge, I do have a huge following. I don't take that for granted. 7,000 followers on TikTok is enormous. But sometimes it's like, me? Like, are you sure? So sure enough, I make the video. She sends me 2 tickets to each event. Madeline, thank you. So I live an hour away, and I was going back and forth. Okay, do I drive up an hour, go to the event on Friday, drive an hour home, and then wake up again Saturday, drive an hour up, and then after the game, drive an hour home? It felt like a lot. So I'm looking up Airbnbs, and it's just expensive to stay in the city. It's expensive to be downtown Denver. It's expensive to be close. The cheapest option was actually a hostel in downtown Denver. I had lived and worked at hostels before in Spain and Colorado, so I wasn't scared of it, but I was like, is it worth it? I decided it was. I booked it. $50 to stay downtown Denver in a hostel. Like, screw it, we're gonna go. We're gonna go, stay, have fun, enjoy it. I was like literally journaling about it. I think I booked it that day. I was journaling about it. I was praying. I was like, God, do I stay? Do I drive back and forth? He's like, go and have fun. My ticket gets paid for to go to the game. I'm driving up to go stay in the hostel. I arrive at the hostel. The hostel is super nice. I had bought a few beers on the way up to hopefully share with somebody at the hostel. I love the sharing experience at the hostel. Every time I've been in a hostel, I always just want to share. That's how you make community, is just sharing. So I bought a 6-pack of Coors Banquets, and I go sit in like kind of the common area, and there's nobody there. I'm by myself. The party starts in about 30 minutes, and I'm finishing up my 1 beer, and then a guy walks by and he's like, oh, Bills. Because I had like a Buffalo hoodie on. He's like, are you a Bills fan? I was like, yeah. And he says, are you going to the game? I was like, yeah, I'm going to the game. I was like, where are you going? He's like, oh yeah, I just landed and I'm about to go out. And I was like, I have 2 tickets to a party tonight. Do you want to come? And he's like, yeah, sure. So before I even basically knew his name or knew anything about him, I'm like, let's go, come with me, let's go to this party. Turns out he's from Slovenia. He's an au pair in Seattle, came to Denver for like 3 days, had just arrived. He was going out to go to probably a bar by himself. And I was like, let's share a beer and let's come to this party. So I give him beer, I quick go change. I come back out, he orders the Uber, and we kind of chat a little bit, and we go to the party together. The party had pizza logs. That's what got me. Madeline told me pizza logs and all the Bills staples, and I said, I'm there. And so I was able to, again, connect with Abigail again, connect with Madeline. I was able to have the Bills experience with the food, and I was able to share that with my friend Luca from Slovenia. And he had the best time. I mean, to go from it, not knowing where you're going, to go to this like super fun Bills rally, Bills party. Turns out he's a Patriots fan. Turns out he went to the whiteout game, the same game I was at, with his brother, who's a Bills fan. So his brother's a Bills fan, he's a Patriots fan. We were both at the whiteout game, like fun. So many fun connections. We were able to talk about that. And it was such a fun night. It was such a fun night. We Ubered back to the hostel, slept in the hostel, didn't sleep super well because I was just so stoked for the night before and even more excited for the next day. So now it's game day and there's a all-inclusive Bills like tailgate experience. And I was like, Luca, come with me. Again, I have the extra ticket. Come with me. So we drive into the stadium, we're walking around by the stadium, and we go to the Game Day Buffalo event. It's so fun. A beautiful venue, 2 floors, we're up on top. I introduced Luca to Blue Moon, and he loved it. And there's a table full of food, just Bills Mafia, community. It was incredibly fun. And I knew a few people that were coming from Buffalo, so we met up with them. And so we're just chatting outside. It's cold outside, but the sun feels good. We're chatting outside. And as we're sitting there, a girl comes up to me and says, are you TikTok famous? And I looked at her and I was like, shocked. No. She's like, are you sure? Yeah, you are. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then she points and she's like, she told me you're TikTok famous. And I look over at this girl and I like wave her over. I was like laughing. I was like, what? No. And she comes over and she's like, yes, I see your lives all the time. Like you're on my feed all the time. I see you on there. She's like, I saw you when I first walked in, you're up on the second floor, and I even searched Buffalo Bills TikTok live guy. And I thought that was hilarious. I took a recording of like her search, her TikTok search of that. And it was so fun to be able to, again, connect with someone. I was like, oh my gosh, let's take a picture. We took a picture together and more Bills community. How fun to be able to just meet new people, hear her story, encourage her in her life and her dreams and things that she's doing. It was just funny that she was just like, she was so shocked that I was just there. And it was just like, yeah, we're all just hanging out. It was special. And what's cool is that she said, I see you on my lives all the time. And on my lives is when I'm usually praying for people, is when I'm usually like building community, encouraging people. And so that's what was really special about hearing that, is that, yeah, I mean, the Bills posts are so fun, but to see my lives all the time, that's a space where I really try to be vulnerable and share my story and my testimony and pray for people. And so it was a beautiful way of connection. It reminded me that, okay, the things that I talk about, the things that I post, they're important. People listen to them, people hear them. Like you have this opportunity to speak life. My Bills posts are just what get people in. Of course I love the Bills, but it's not my everything. It's almost like the clickbait to get you in to like hear more about my story, my heart, about my faith, about Jesus, about relationship. I'm not here to sell religion. I'm not here to sell anything Bills Mafia, but I'm here to connect with you. I'm here to encourage you in your dreams, in your purpose. A fun morning. We go into the game. I sat by myself. The game was incredible. Obviously overtime, controversial play. I mean, it was so fun. It was so fun. The Bills lost, but it was so fun. Being present in the moment. Sitting in the stadium, sitting up high in the stadium, seeing the sunset behind the mountains over the stadium. I mean, it was just perfect. The fact that I was at my 3rd Bills game of the year, I didn't even think I'd get to 1. I told Johnny we'd get to 1 in some crazy way. It happened, and then 2 more. Oh my gosh. And then that was it. That was the end of the season. And it was emotional. Not the fact that we wouldn't see the Bills play again until September, but the fact that this chapter had come to an end. What started all the way back at the beginning of 2025, the early conversations with Johnny of, we're going to a Bills game. I don't care how it happens, but we're going. It's going to happen in some weird way. Thinking all the way back to that moment, to then starting TikTok 2 months later, to then wearing Bills stuff on my live, sharing my story, Dave connecting with me, being the P.O. box, building all the community, and then 3 Bills games. And then being able to share my story of Jesus throughout it all. The heart. The clickbait is my game day fit. The clickbait is chest bumping on the field. The clickbait is pizza logs. But then it's about Jesus. It's about a bigger purpose. It's about relationship. No, come join, because we have a beautiful community that prays for each other, encourages each other, inspires one another. People have met some of like their best friends through like my community, which is wild. Becoming a safe place for people to open up about things they've never even opened up about. Seeing people grow this past year so much in who they are and in their dreams, coming out of their shell, being uncomfortable. That's what it's all about. That's why the end of this last chapter is heavy for me. Has nothing to do with an overtime controversial catch. But it's, wow, what a beautiful season of God coming through, using the Bills to love people. It's just the beginning. It's crazy to see my profile when I first started in March, 170 followers. And now we're at 7,500. And my top posts are all Bills posts. And that's okay, because I've seen the intentionality in the smaller conversations and connections and God getting after people's hearts through all that. Bills Mafia changed my life. I'll forever be grateful. And it continues. Even the off season, it continues. Bills Mafia continues, because that's what it's all about. It's not about just a season, it's an all year thing. It's community, it's relationship. I'm excited for this next chapter. It might be a little bit less Bills for this next chapter, but I'm excited to pursue my life coaching, to pursue the other purposes, getting into the YouTube space. I'm excited for this next chapter. Of course, I'm so excited for September again. But guys, thank you. Bills Mafia, you've changed my life. This community has changed my life. God has used some wild things to change my life. He's used some crazy TikTok posts to change my life. It's all for him. It's not about me. No matter how known I become, I still want to serve. I still want to take a picture with you. Always. Because you are so worth the 1% each and every day. Even in the off season, you are worth it. And as every day, get outside today. Now that's recording. And then a lot of other, it doesn't have to, she sends me she sends me the tickets to, and we go to the Buffalo, we go to the game day Buffalo event, a food full of table. We have a beautiful community and go Bills.